Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Circumstantial Evidence. Now, in case some of you are about to jump straight into solving the puzzle without even reading the rule sets, I'm going to warn you, it's not quite normal standard variance, so definitely read the rules carefully. Now, when I do bring up the puzzle, I will sort of explain why I think it's called Circumstantial Evidence, but obviously on this channel we're all about hard, solid evidence and logic that can actually explain all of our steps. I can trust that you, the regular viewers, will make sure that is the case for me, because often when I have some kind of intuitive answer or I skip a step, you guys very quickly point that out. So circumstantial evidence not allowed on this channel. And I guess that's what Sleuth is sort of pondering here. He's got a bunch of evidence that's clearly suggesting some kind of robbery occurred. There's an open safe, there's money and gold coins everywhere, but who knows, maybe no robbery actually occurred. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and today's rule sets. So we have circumstantial evidence by willpower. And fairly standard rules, except for the arrow sums are a little bit different today. And I think we've seen something very similar not too long ago. If I can't remember what the puzzle was and I can find it, I'll make sure that I put a link or a box up here that you can click. If you enjoyed this puzzle, you can actually try that one as well. So first rule, fairly obvious, normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. Then we have an arrows plus rule. So numbers on arrows sum to the number in the arrow circle. So far, fairly standard. If that was a 1 and 2, this would have to be a 3. In essence, the two cells that are on the arrow will sum up to a value that will be in the circle. And that's true for all of these arrows and circles. But also, numbers on the arrows strictly decrease towards the arrow tip. And you can see I very deliberately put the 2 and 1 in this order. The 2 being the higher digit is at kind of the top end of the arrow, and the 1 being the smallest digit is at the tip. If I reverse these, I've broken the puzzle. So watch out for that. Now, the word strictly here, I'm interpreting meaning it can't stay the same. So, for example, this 3-cell arrow here, I couldn't do 3, 2, 2. That is no longer strictly decreasing towards the tip. That has to be smaller, and therefore this has to be 1. Right, that's all the rules. There's comments on there about it being kind of like a 1.5-star difficulty rating. I guess because it's kind of a twist on a normal variant, and there's not a lot to go on other than clearly the twist here. So let's see if it is indeed 1.5 or 1 star. As always, if you want to play along, uncover and understand what the circumstantial evidence is pointing towards, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. So I'll tell you what's catching my attention. These circles have arrows that are kind of parallel to one another. Parallel is fine. All right, let me just sort of think out loud and explain why I think this is interesting. In essence, only one of these could have a 1. The other one would have to have a 2. And because it's strictly increasing, it doesn't matter which one it is that's the 2, even if it's that one here, it would have to be 2, 3, 4 at a minimum, which is immediately the maximum value that I can put in a single cell circle. So in essence, one of these is definitely a 9. And you can see that on the left-hand side, we've got something similar going on, where clearly one of them has to start at a 2, and therefore it will be again 2, 3, 4 with a 9. And I could see, actually, because of the way that these boxes are set up. Yeah. So one of these is a 9. And therefore, this is not the 9. This is the 9. That's the 9. That's the 2, 3, and 4. Now, I'm pretty sure this has to be a 1. Because if it's not 1, it will start at 3, and then, where am I going from there? 4, 5 would get me to 12. So that's a 1. But I'm not necessarily... Yeah, I can already see because that's the 1. That's not the 1. So that already has to start at a 2. So that's the 2, 3, 4. That's the 9. And again, for the same reason, that would have to start at a 1. But same thing here is they don't necessarily have to go to 2. Because I can do, well, at least not in this particular box. I can't do, because the next available value will be 5, which I think is too big, because if it's not 1 and then immediately 2, 3 and 4 are both unavailable. We go to 5, so it'll go 1, 5, 6. That's too big. So that's definitely a 2. This could be a 3, could be a 5. Can't be a 6 because that would put a 9 in here. So this is 6 or 8. Now, I don't think I have the same restriction here, do I? Yeah, I do, because of the 3. So if this is not a 2, the next available digit would be 4, which would make this a 5. 5, 4, and 1 is too big. That would be 10. So I'm pretty sure that's also a 2. But then that could, again, be a 3. It can't be a 4. It can be a 5. It can't be a 6 for the same reason. It would make this a 9. And this is another 6, 8. So we've got a 6, 8 pair in here. Okay, we have a bit of a start. You can see 1 and 4, this is already at least a 2. And again, if we've got a 2 on a 3-cell arrow, this is forced. This is 2, 3, 4, another 9. That tells me that this has to be a 5, and therefore this has to be an 8. This, therefore, is not an 8. This is a 6, and therefore this is a 3. Right, lovely. 1 and 2. I was going to say this has to be a 3, surely. And for a second, I made a mistake thinking that it can't be. This is a 3. Yeah, because 4 and 5 are not available. And if I start at 6, it's too big. So that's 3. And I think this has to be a 5 because it's not 4. And if it's any higher, it will clash with the 9. So that's 3, 5. That's an 8. Right, this is coming along quite well. You can see 1 and 4 are forced onto these cells. So that's 1, 4. Remember, they have to be, we actually know that they have to be decreasing towards the tip or increasing towards the circle. So that's a 5. We've almost done all the arrows, actually. I think this has to be a 1. If it's not a 1, it won't be 2, 3, or 4. And it would start at 5, 6. That would be 11. So that's definitely 1. This is not 2, 3, 4, or 5. It is 6. And it is just 6 because that would put a 7 in here and it can't go higher with 8 or 9. Right, lovely. 1 and 2 in here. This is at least a 3. This is at least a 4. This is at least a 7. I can go all the way up to 9 though. So 7, 8, 9. I can even start at 4 here with a 5. And presumably I can go 3 and 6. So these are all allowed digits. This one is not very restricted. This is, well, it can be 1. It's not 2, 3. Presumably, oh no, it can't be 4. If I go 4, I can't actually go 5 in here. I would have to go 6 and that would be 10. So this is forced with a 1. Plus a digit in here that's either 2 with a 3. 3, 4, 5 are all not allowed. 6 is allowed. 7 is not allowed. And 8 wouldn't be allowed because that would make it a 9, which is conflicting. So no 8. So it's 2 or 6. So this is 3 or 7. Down here, it has to start with a 2. The next digit along would be a 3. Can't be a 5. So it actually has to be bigger than this. 2. So 3 is not allowed. 4. 5 would be. Yeah, 5 looks good. And that would make that 7. 6 wouldn't work here. 7 would be, yeah, I can't put 7, and obviously 8 is too big. Interesting. How far can I take this? So because 6 and 7 are just broadly not allowed, and 8 is too big, 5 is the largest digit. So this can go up to 3 and 4, and that would be 8 or 9, depending on, but this is definitely a 5. Yeah, it can't be a 3. That would force a 2, that would force a 5. And 4 is not available. And we already established 6 and 7 are not available, and 8 is too big. So yeah, that is definitely a 5. Okay. Need really much more than this to do a bit of Sudoku? I doubt it. Let us do a bit of Sudoku. Ones. We've got one in here for sure. Ones, one, so the one in here is lower. Twos, what have we got? Two, this is a 1-2 pair. Let's keep going with twos. Yeah, not sure. Two is definitely one of these two. That is a two, that is a one, that is a two, that is a one. Is that all the twos done? No. And then one of these is a two. Threes. Fours. Interesting. How about we just do this column instead? 6 has to be in here. This is 4 or 7. That 7 gives me an order. That's 7, that's 4. That's not a 4, making this not a 7. What else do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3. So 9 is not here. 9 is there. These two are 7, 8. And this is 7, 8, 9. Definite 9. In here, well, this is not the 7. This is 8, 9. This is just a known digit, which is a 5. And the 8 and 9 can't be up here. So this is 6, 7. That 6 gives me an order. 6, 7. What else do we know? Got an 8, 9 pair. Not very helpful right now. 7, that gives me 8, which gives me 9. Which actually doesn't necessarily resolve that. That is not a 9, that is not a 4. That 9 gives me 8, gives me 9. That 8, 9 is not resolved. That 2, 3, seemingly not resolved, okay. In here, I need 6 and 7. Seemingly not resolved, but it does give me a 5, which gives me a 4 to get that 9. That 5 and 4 actually do not help me. I need a 3, which can only... Oh, hang on. I've got a 3. I've got 1, 2, 3. I need a 4, which is not down here. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is another 8, 9. 4 is definitely up here, which can only be there. This is 8 or 9. It's a 9, which is an 8, which is a 7, which is a 9, an 8. That is... Now that I put a 7 in here, for some reason I thought it was going to give me this 3, 7. It doesn't. What else do I need in here? How about this box? So the 3 is not here. So the 3 and 7 are in there. Actually, the 3 is forced. That's 2. That's not a 2. That's 2. That's not a 2. That is a 3. 4 is not here. That's the 4. That's not. That's the 7. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's the 5. That's... Is it 6? Yeah. I need a 5, which is on this side. It's up here. I need a 7, which is down here. And this is an 8. I know what this is. My scanning really is not great. It takes me a long time to be able to see some of the digits. That's fine. This digit we should be able to place. It's just a 6. I need a 3, which can only be in here. This is 8 and 9. That's the 9. That's the 8. And this is a 4. We should know what this digit is. It usually seems to be a 6, 7, 6. This digit is known. It's a 5. I need 7 and 8. That's the 7. If I've not made any mistakes, that's the 8 for the finish. Lovely puzzle, willpower. I think... You see, if you don't pay attention to this being potentially 3 or 5, potentially people fall down into the trap of thinking that it's a 3, and then that would break this line here. So I think if you're just extremely careful about thinking which ones are 9s and which ones aren't, you can avoid sort of that pitfall and I guess the circumstantial evidence, so to speak. Anyhow, that felt fairly straightforward. I would say that was more of a 1-star difficulty rating. Hope you enjoyed the puzzle and the video. I will dig out that other puzzle that has a very similar twist on arrow sums. It was quite an enjoyable one as well. Hope you enjoyed the puzzle and the video. Bye-bye for now.